The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
Reports suggest Steve Harvey may have left the country after Diddy allegedly threw him under the bus in an attempt to protect himself. Rumors are swirling that as the FBI closes in on Diddy's empire, Harvey has gone into hiding, hinting at deeper secrets. Insiders claim this involves hidden cameras, underground parties, and a web of intrigue beyond anyone's expectations. The scandal has captivated public attention as shocking details continue to emerge. What's truly happening behind the scenes? Only time will tell. It down.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
In the high-stakes world of celebrity, few friendships are as surprising as that of Steve Harvey and Sean Diddy Combs. On the surface, they seem worlds apart. Steve is famous for his TV charisma, hosting game shows and offering life advice, while Diddy is a hip-hop mogul who's built an empire spanning music, fashion, and more. Yet, they share more in common than meets the eye. Rumors of their late-night parties have circulated for years, and with Diddy's recent arrest, we're learning just how deep their connection goes.
We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
The situation escalated on September 16, 2024, when Diddy was arrested in Manhattan on charges of conspiracy, coercion, and illicit transportation. While this news alone made headlines, the real shocker came later. According to insider sources, Diddy has been cooperating with authorities, possibly to reduce his own sentence. And the name he allegedly revealed, none other than Steve Harvey.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his home.
Steve's involvement traces back to Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, known for their secrecy and celebrity allure. According to various lawsuits, these weren't your typical Hollywood gatherings. Allegedly, Diddy hosted these events in his mansions, which were reportedly wired with hidden cameras in every room. The lawsuits claim Diddy recorded guests without their consent, capturing compromising footage that could be used as leverage. It suggested that Steve may have attended these parties, potentially entangling him in the scandal.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
Steve Harvey's involvement in these gatherings goes beyond mere attendance. Multiple reports suggest he was a regular fixture at Diddy's events. Despite long-standing rumors of hidden cameras and secret recordings, Steve allegedly continued to attend. Some speculate he was drawn by the allure of mingling with Hollywood's power players, while others believe he may have had his own secrets to protect. Whatever the reason, his consistent presence at these parties now raises serious questions, especially with reports that Diddy is revealing information to authorities.
Well, either way, if you got to run to a private island because your evil doings are doing so much and they storming your house, it's one of these.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
According to Rodney Lilrod. According to Jones, a former associate of Diddy who recently filed a lawsuit, Diddy's parties were far from ordinary. Jones claims he was coerced into setting up specific encounters for high-profile celebrity guests. And shockingly, he alleges that Steve Harvey was among those who participated. This involvement may have left Steve vulnerable to Diddy's surveillance tactics. The suit also claims that Diddy often bragged about the tapes he kept, hinting they could destroy lives if ever made public.
And I remember, like, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but like, I felt like I was in the presence of his mom.
If true, this suggests that Steve was knowingly attending events where privacy was non-existent, with hidden cameras capturing everything. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Some insiders claim that Steve was aware of the FBI's investigation into Diddy's activities well before Diddy's arrest. This would have given Steve ample time to plan his escape. In fact, it's speculated that Steve not only had a backup plan, but may have already put it into action, preparing for potential fallout from the scandal.
The special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
Rumors surrounding Steve's sudden disappearance suggest he went off the radar immediately after Diddy's arrest, canceling appearances and avoiding contact. Some speculate he'd been preparing for this moment for weeks, anticipating Diddy's downfall. So where did he go? Sources close to Steve hint he may have fled to a country without an extradition treaty, possibly in the Caribbean or a remote part of Europe. If true, this would make it challenging for U.S. authorities to bring him back if he's implicated. There's rampant speculation that Steve was tipped off by someone in Diddy's circle, giving him time to escape. This insider information could have come from a mutual friend or even a legal insider, allowing Steve to slip away quietly. There are even rumors he chartered a private jet for his getaway, avoiding commercial flights and the public eye. Whether he's truly gone or just lying low remains unconfirmed.
Now you got the Diddy situation where he jumps on a private jet, they say yesterday, and is on his way to the Cape Verde Islands.
What's clear is that if Steve did flee, it wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. Insiders claim he'd been preparing for some time, moving assets and transferring funds out of U.S. accounts, possibly into offshore accounts. This kind of financial maneuvering suggests he anticipated what was coming and wanted to be ready to act the moment Diddy's arrest hit the headlines.
And I hung the phone up. I went upstairs. I said, Marjorie down. I said, Marjorie, we got a problem. When I explained it to her, Marjorie started crying.
There's more. Some suggest that Steve's wife, Marjorie, may have been involved in his escape. Marjorie has a controversial past, with rumored ties to shady figures and past relationships with individuals involved in illicit businesses. She's no stranger to scandal, and some believe she may have helped Steve orchestrate his getaway. While there's no concrete proof yet, the possibility that Marjorie played a role adds another layer to this unfolding drama.
So I don't give them no energy. I give haters no energy. Steve ain't this, he think he this. You don't even know me.
So why is all this happening now? Why would Steve feel the need to flee when he hasn't been formally charged? The answer may lie in the extent of Diddy's cooperation with the FBI. If Diddy has indeed named Steve as an accomplice, it could mean Steve faces serious legal troubles. Given the nature of the charges Diddy is up against, it's easy to see why authorities might target anyone associated with his alleged activities.
There are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
The timing couldn't be worse for Steve. Just as he was trying to cement his legacy as a media mogul and family man, this scandal threatens to unravel everything. With Diddy seemingly prepared to take down anyone to save himself, Steve could easily become the next domino to fall. If Diddy truly has tapes, it wouldn't just jeopardize Steve's reputation, it could destroy his entire career. However, it's important to remember that Steve has navigated scandals before. He has faced cheating rumors, family drama, and public backlash, only to bounce back each time. Yet this situation is different. If the rumors hold any truth, he's not merely dealing with a personal scandal. He may also face legal action that could alter his life permanently. With Diddy cooperating with authorities, Steve might find it much harder to talk his way out of this one.
That's of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
All of this raises the big question. Will Steve Harvey be the next to face charges, or will he manage to stay one step ahead of the law? The FBI is reportedly expanding its investigation, looking not only into Diddy's alleged actions, but also into the individuals who may have attended his notorious gatherings. If they find any evidence linking Steve to those parties or the hidden cameras, he could be in serious trouble. There's already chatter that the feds are reviewing tapes and other evidence collected from Diddy's homes, hoping to piece together who was involved, and to what extent. If Steve's name appears in any of that footage, it could be game over for him. Given the number of celebrities reportedly at these parties, he's not the only one who should be concerned. For now, Steve's whereabouts remain a mystery. Some say he's gone underground, hiding in a luxury villa far from prying eyes, while others believe he's still in the country, biding his time until the dust settles. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. This story is far from over, and the fallout could be even bigger than anyone imagined.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail.
As we wait to see what unfolds next, speculation abounds. Will Steve come forward to clear his name, or will he remain in hiding until the storm passes? And what about the rest of Hollywood's elite who attended Diddy's parties? Are they all keeping their heads down, hoping to avoid being dragged into the scandal? One thing is certain. This story will keep us glued to our screens as it continues to develop.
Back with us now. So what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, you know, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
With Diddy potentially facing years behind bars if convicted, the stakes are higher than ever. As his legal team scrambles to cut a deal, everyone in his orbit is holding their breath, wondering who might be next. Whether Steve Harvey is truly guilty or merely caught up in a bad situation, his association with Diddy raises serious questions about what really happens behind the glitzy facade of Hollywood.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
So what's really going on with Steve Harvey and his wife, Marjorie, while he seems to be on the run? As more details emerge, it's becoming evident that this scandal might not be limited to Steve's connection with Diddy. Some are now digging into Marjorie's past, suggesting there may be even more skeletons in the closet than initially thought. The rumors surrounding Steve's escape from the U.S. have shown an unprecedented spotlight on the couple, raising questions about just how deep this rabbit hole goes.
It just says that he did a bunch of stuff, that he allegedly gave her copious amounts of drugs, leading to a painful struggle with drug and alcohol abuse, that he controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
First off, Marjorie Harvey's story isn't exactly that of a squeaky clean Hollywood wife. Long before marrying Steve, she was linked to some questionable characters, not just fleeting associations or casual friendships. In fact, Marjorie was reportedly married to two different figures involved in the illicit drug trade. According to sources, her first husband, Jim Townsend, was indicted in the 1990s for attempting to purchase a massive quantity of illegal substances, ultimately leading to a life sentence in prison. That's right, Marjorie's first husband was a full-fledged kingpin.
All right, I got to take some time to address this here.
If you think Marjorie was just an innocent bystander, think again. During Townsend's trial, there were rumors that Marjorie herself was under scrutiny by authorities. The FBI allegedly had enough evidence to make her life quite challenging. Had it not been for Townsend's cooperation with law enforcement, she might have faced indictment. Instead, Townsend took the fall, serving 26 years before receiving a pardon. After his release, he revealed details about his ex-wife in a tell-all book, claiming Marjorie was well aware of his activities and hinting that she was more involved than she'd ever admit publicly.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
But Townsend wasn't the only one. After divorcing him, Marjorie reportedly married another man, Donald Woods, who was also deeply involved in the same line of work. Woods wasn't exactly a small fish. He was rumored to be a significant player in the game, with deep ties to that world. These aren't just rumors or tabloid gossip. They are stories backed by people close to the situation. Although Woods faced his own legal troubles, he managed to maintain a lower profile than Townsend. Nevertheless, Marjorie's connections to not one but two men involved in illegal activities raised serious questions about the kind of environment she was part of.
I believe Diddy is a dangerous person.
Yes.
When Marjorie eventually met Steve Harvey, many viewed her as a woman who had finally left her past behind to start fresh. However, now that Steve is potentially facing his own scandal, the timing seems almost too coincidental. With Marjorie's history of associating with powerful men who have encountered legal trouble, one has to wonder, is Steve simply the latest in a long line? People are asking if Marjorie knew what she was getting into when she married Steve, or if she was drawn to him for the same reasons that attracted her to her previous husbands. It's hard not to see a pattern here.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
And let's not forget the persistent rumors about Steve himself. Long before the Diddy scandal broke, Steve had his fair share of controversies, including allegations of infidelity that nearly tore his marriage apart and accusations that he used his wealth and influence to evade consequences. The tabloids had a field day back in 2018 when rumors surfaced that Steve was secretly seeing other women, despite his public image as a devoted husband. Steve denied these allegations, of course, but for those who knew him personally, they were hardly surprising. Adding to the speculation is Steve's long-standing fascination with powerful circles. Over the years, he's been linked to numerous prominent figures, from politicians to business moguls, and has attended some of the most exclusive events, rubbing shoulders with people who could open doors in Hollywood and beyond. Yet his connection with Diddy stands out as particularly unusual. Diddy's reputation as a party mogul seems at odds with Steve's image as a family man, prompting questions about the kind of influence Diddy had over Steve, and vice versa.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
But back to Marjorie. While Steve's on the run, she has remained mostly silent. No statements, no public appearances, and no signs of distress. It's almost as if she was prepared for this moment. Could it be that she's simply waiting for the dust to settle, or is she actively involved in helping Steve stay one step ahead? Remember, this is a woman who has navigated some pretty dangerous waters in the past. She's not new to this game, and if anyone knows how to handle a scandal like this, it's probably her. Here's where it gets even more twisted. There's been talk that Marjorie might have helped Steve with his escape. According to some insiders, she could have used her connections to facilitate his departure, possibly arranging for transport to a remote location where he could lie low until things blow over. The theory suggests that she may have even called in a favor from one of her old associates, tapping into networks that have remained hidden from the public eye. While this is all speculation, it does seem strange that Steve managed to disappear so quickly and efficiently, almost as if he had a plan in place. But how does this all tie back to Diddy? As it turns out, Marjorie and Steve's connection to him might be deeper than we initially thought. While Steve and Diddy were the public faces of this connection, some sources claim that Marjorie had her own interactions with Diddy's circle back in the early 2000s. She was reportedly seen at various events where Diddy and his associates were present, leading some to believe that her ties to the mogul date back further than anyone realized. Could it be that Marjorie was the initial link between Steve and Diddy? If so, what does that say about her involvement in this entire affair?
Clients describe MDC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
Let's also consider the current legal situation Diddy finds himself in. The charges he's facing are serious, and the alleged victims have painted a harrowing picture of what went on at his parties, complete with hidden cameras and threats of blackmail. The accusations suggest a calculated pattern of behavior that goes back years. One of the most chilling details comes from Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who claims that Diddy kept compromising footage of various celebrities who attended his parties, using it to keep them in line. Jones alleges that he was coerced into arranging certain encounters for these guests, and that Diddy maintained meticulous records of everything. If Diddy really has this kind of footage, it could be a game changer. Not only would it mean he has dirt on some of Hollywood's biggest names, but it also suggests that anyone who attended these events could be implicated, and that includes Steve Harvey. While there's no concrete evidence linking Steve to any specific recordings, the mere possibility that he might be caught on tape is enough to send shockwaves through the entertainment world. After all, if Diddy is willing to betray Steve to save himself, what's stopping him from releasing footage that could further incriminate his former friends?
Stand-up comedian, entertainer, television host, family man. But most importantly, I happen to be a man of faith.
This leads us to one of the biggest questions surrounding this scandal. What exactly did Steve know about Diddy's activities, and when did he know it? If Steve was a regular at these parties, as some reports suggest, he must have seen things that raised red flags. Did he turn a blind eye, hoping that his association with Diddy would pay off in the long run? Or was he genuinely unaware of the darker side of Diddy's empire? It's a tough call, especially considering the rumors that Steve was aware of the hidden cameras. If it turns out that Steve did know about the recordings, it would mean he not only attended these parties, but also actively participated in the cover-up, which would be a serious blow to his image as a family man and role model. This revelation would also raise questions about how many others were involved in keeping this secret. Diddy didn't act alone. He had a network of enablers, people who helped him maintain his grip on power and protect his interests. If Steve was part of that network, it would certainly explain a lot about his sudden disappearance.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
But perhaps the most damning possibility is that Steve wasn't just an unwitting participant, but an active accomplice. Imagine for a moment that Steve not only knew about the recordings, but actually helped Diddy distribute them. This is pure speculation, of course, but if true, it would paint Steve in a whole new light. He wouldn't just be a celebrity caught up in a scandal. He'd be a key player in a web of deception and control that goes far beyond Hollywood parties. Yet, despite all of this, Marjorie has remained steadfast by Steve's side. Some might see this as a testament to her loyalty, but others view it as a sign that she's deeply enmeshed in this scandal. If Steve goes down, Marjorie's future could be in jeopardy as well. After all, she has built her own brand around the image of a glamorous, sophisticated wife who is above the fray. However, if it turns out that she's been involved in these dealings, even indirectly, that image could come crashing down.
And let me tell you something else. Not only should he have apologized to Cassie in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to.
It's also worth noting that Marjorie has faced accusations of manipulation in the past. Some have claimed she uses her charm and connections to get what she wants, and that she's not above playing dirty when it suits her. If that's true, it would make her the perfect partner for someone like Steve, who's known for his ambition and desire for success. Together, they've built an empire, but at what cost? As we look at the bigger picture, it's clear this isn't just a story about Diddy's downfall or Steve's potential involvement in a scandal. It's a story about power, influence, and the lengths people will go to protect their interests. Steve and Marjorie have spent years cultivating an image of success and stability, but that image is now under threat. With Diddy's case unfolding, the Harveys could find themselves dragged into a legal battle that exposes more than they ever intended. In the end, we're left with more questions than answers. What will happen if the FBI finds evidence linking Steve to Diddy's recordings? Will Marjorie continue to stand by him, or will she distance herself to protect her own reputation? And what about the other celebrities who attended these parties? Are they all holding their breath, waiting to see if their names will be dragged into the spotlight? One thing is for sure, this story is far from over. As the investigation continues, we can expect more twists and turns and revelations that will keep us on the edge of our seats. Steve and Marjorie have managed to stay one step ahead for now, but how long can they keep running? The clock is ticking, and sooner or later, the truth will come out. When it does, Hollywood might never be the same. So, what do you think? Did Steve Harvey really flee the country? Is Marjorie involved in helping him escape? Or could this be just another layer of the mystery yet to be revealed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, keep those comments coming.